As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juice pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports, the Crunch Time Sports Show with Jeff Iafrate and Booner. It's Monday, March 16th. We are back. Another week of hopefully free agency moves, all right? And players meeting with the media, which we will talk about today. Kory Woods joining the show. It's Mock Draft Monday. So we'll give our kind of post-free agency frenzy week mock drafts. March Madness is beginning. So we have our bracket, which we will talk about shortly, which the people can enter. And we're going to come up with something to give back to the people if you do take first in the challenge. We did it last year, and it was fun. We gave away a Lions jersey. So we're firing it back up. We're going to have our I already submitted my bracket. So let's roll.
You submitted yours?
I did. Yep.
Can I ask, because you can't see who's like, we can see the people that submitted it. We can't see who the winner. Who did you have winning?
Duke.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a tough look for you, man.
Yeah, I had Duke beating Michigan.
Oh, yeah, at least you had Michigan in the
and then I had the tiebreaker 144 I put in there.
I had 145 for mine. They played earlier this year. It was like 134, maybe 135, I believe. What was the tiebreaker or the score, the over under last time they played? So I was like, they're going to score more in the national championship on the big stage. Michigan didn't shoot that well that day. So I'm fired up for March Madness, though. It's like, that's one of my favorite times of the year. Who'd you have in your whole Final Four? I'm interested.
I'll tell you right now. I have it right here.
So you had Duke and then you had Michigan.
Let me see.
Shout out Pacheco, just scored a goal for the Red Wings just to open the game, I believe. Oh, no, second period, to open the second period. Sorry, I'm a period late.
I had, so my Final Four was Duke, North Carolina, Michigan, Villanova.
Duke, North Carolina,
Villanova.
Michigan. I mean, can I say, I don't want to say something. I don't want to be mean tonight. I won't do it. Villanova?
Yeah.
You know that's like 6 years too late to have them in the Final Four, right?
I understand, yeah. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I was dialed or anything.
I was about to say, that is nuts, dude.
So my approach with March Madness every year when I do my bracket is I add some bullshit every year. Like, for example, I have
yeah, you added it.
Just for example, just to give you some context, I have who's the team? I have McNeese.
McNeese State.
Yeah, I have McNeese going on a little run. Like, I always add in some like random shit.
I have a Final Four team that's not even the top 3 seed. I have a number 4 seed Final Four team. Can you look at the 4 seeds and tell me who you think I have in the Final Four? And Freddie said Jeff pulled out his bracket from 2013. That's when you said that. Even North Carolina, like, they're not that good this year. They're just average. They lost to Duke by like 20. When you said that, I was like, wait a second, did I miss something?
Yeah, no, I'm firing away, man.
Sorry, I have a 5 seed. I have a 5 seed in the Final Four. I apologize.
St. John's?
It is not St. John's. I have Duke going in that side. So that narrows. And I have Michigan as the one, so that takes out the 5 seed from Michigan's side.
Do you have Vanderbilt?
I have Vandy, man.
Yeah, Vandy.
I have Vanderbilt going to the Final Four.
See, I have McNeese beating Vandy. That was my like FU pick. I
have Vanderbilt beating Houston and Florida. Vandy's beaten, so dude, I'm going through it, dude. I'm like looking at matchups. I've like this weekend I got to see Vandy play a little bit. And I'll tell you what, Vandy, if you go look at their schedule, they've beaten some like good teams. Like, they play well versus good teams. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, Houston, go look at Houston's last like 8 games. They lost to like every good team. So if Vandy plays Houston, I'm taking Vandy. I know everyone loves Houston. Give me Vandy, man. But they're gonna lose though to Duke. So
who do you have in your Final Four? So we know you have
Duke.
Vandy.
I have Vandy versus Duke in the Final Four, and I have Michigan versus Arizona in the Final Four. And then I have Michigan beating Arizona, Duke beating Vandy, and then Michigan beating Duke in the national championship game to win the first national championship in like 30 years or whatever it is. Cannot wait. I hope it is. I got a text from Flannel. I know he's going to be coming on sometime this week. I got a text from Flannel, and he was like, I don't know if Michigan can do it this year. And I was like, dude, I did not need to hear that. It was, and you know what? And Flannel, I know you're probably listening. Flannel has the mindset of like Michigan lost, so instantly he's like, it's over. Like they just lost. It's over. They're the worst team of all time. Like he's like, they can't do it. He does this all the time. Anytime there's a loss, anytime he's like,
pessimistic. He's
pessimistic. Oh, every time. Every time. I think he texted me, I think at the beginning of the season, it was like the 4th game of the season or something. He was like, this Michigan team is going to be like, they're not going to do it. And then they ended up being like the best team in the country or something. Like he does it all the time. It's funny. He's like, Booner, I'll tell you what, you were right. I should have listened to you. Like, thanks, bro.
That sounds like Flannel. That sounds like Flannel. He'll say that, and then if it doesn't happen and the opposite happens, then he's a happy man. You know? Yeah. It's like Nick P says he has Michigan losing in the Sweet 16. Hodge says Michigan might not make the Elite Eight. There's already some
come on.
doubters.
They're playing Alabama. Alabama. Did you see Alabama?
Yeah, I did see that.
Lost their second best player. He had like a pound of just marijuana in his place, and he's not traveling with the team. They said like it's just. Yeah,
they removed his ass from campus. That's what they say. They took his ass right off campus, dude.
It's tough, man. They've been through it with some stuff, man, the last 2 years.
I don't know what's going on over there, man. You got Brandon Miller. Now you got what's going on that happened today. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, I don't see how Michigan, and I'll knock on wood here, like they have an easy first round, 1 versus 16. And then you look at like next round where they have Georgia or St. Louis, and then they play the winner of Texas, Alabama, Texas Tech, their best player is out for the year. And then Alabama just lost their second best player. I don't see how. And then they got to beat Iowa State or Virginia. Like, I mean, I'm confident, to be honest.
So you're in a good spot.
Yeah. And I'm gonna send a link to you, by the way. We're doing the Crunch Time Sports Bracket Challenge. We don't have like our own website or anything for it, which would be kind of sick if we did. But we made an ESPN group like we did last year. I don't know what we're gonna do. Maybe we do something for the top 3, Jeff, to make it more enticing. Last year we just did the winner gets a Lions jersey. Maybe this year we'll do like Lions jersey for first place, and then second and third gets like some sort of like Crunch Time merch or something. Maybe we'll do something like that, or maybe what we've never done before. Maybe do like a $100 gift card to our website. Can we give gift cards out?
I probably.
That feels like something cool.
Yeah, maybe we'll do something with the merch. That'd be a good idea.
Top 3. We'll do Lions jersey.
Your brackets, and it's free. You throw them in there, and if you win, you win. And you guys are all subscribed anyway, so make it happen. Do you see also apparently Justin Fields went to the Chiefs? That's what people were talking about in the chat. Do you see that today?
Yeah, I feel like that's I bet you Patrick Mahomes plays week 1, and
I think Justin Fields is one of those players that no matter what, there will always be teams interested in him, no matter how bad he plays. I don't know. He's the guy nobody gives up on. I don't know why. It's like every year, it's like he'll crap the bed at some location, and then the next year there's multiple suitors for him. Yeah. I don't know what I don't know. He just checks all the boxes, I guess. 6'3", can move. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of those, like, except he can't read the field, I guess. He can't see the field, but other than that.
I didn't realize today. It hit me today. Someone said he's on his 4th team in 4 years. I just did not realize he's moved around every year. And I was like, wait, what? The Bears, Steelers, Jets, and now the Chiefs, man. I don't know.
And then I saw the report there was he chose the Chiefs over other teams. Like, what, this guy has options now? I mean, he has options and preferences of where he wants to go and shit. No, so I don't know. I don't know how Justin Fields does it, man. I don't know. Maybe the Jets actually, if you play bad for the Jets, it doesn't count. I think that's really what it means. So shout out to AG Burner. I don't know what's going on.
What do you think about this? The worst bracket gets like a grit shirt.
Honestly, I'll take last. I'll take last for the grit.
Well, actually, I don't think we can do that because someone could put in like a really bad bracket just to get the shirt.
Sounds like a positive. You get a grit shirt? That sounds cool.
Yeah, I would literally just do like all the worst seeds just to get the grit shirt. Honestly, if I was,
we got our
grit
hoodie shirt on the website. So yeah,
people are saying too. Oh, never mind. I thought it was Michigan. I thought you were talking about Michigan State. I think Michigan State might lose. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have them going that far, to be honest with you. I have where Michigan State. Where are they?
I mean, they're in the hardest region. I think they're in the East region, which is like stacked.
Yeah, Louisville. I have them. I think I have them losing to Louisville. Actually,
I do have them actually going to the Sweet 16, but I have them losing to Duke. I haven't beaten Louisville and UConn. UConn might beat them. I don't know. Michigan State. They're. Oh, Wings just scored again. 2-1. Sick. Yeah, I don't know. Like. Our guy in the chat, our fellow, not fellow because I'm not a Michigan State guy, but our resident Michigan State fan thinks that they're going to probably win the national championship. And there's a 0% chance Michigan State does. They don't even have a team that's close to a national championship team. Not even close.
So it's not January, February.
It hasn't.
Izzo.
No. Bro, it hasn't. It hasn't been January, February Izzo since like 2015.
Yeah,
I don't remember the last time. It's like, oh my gosh, Izzo.
All right. That's kind of it. I'll be honest. That's a sweet thing though to have for a while. You know, to have a whole month named people calling it Izzo. It's kind of cool. But the problem is they haven't. I mean, I don't know if lately he's actually earned that, but he's still cool. He's still a legend. He's still an absolute legend. But they don't.
He's one of the greatest coaches we've seen in our lifetime.
No question.
And I've said it. I won't throw the take out there. I mean, I talked to some people with the Michigan State that thought the same thing about Izzo that I do right now. It sounds like some people are start maybe getting over the Izzo train. Even though he's a legend, I respect him, but he's getting to that point. Remember at the end of Coach K's career where people are like, all right, man, like, we're like, you're complaining about everything. You're going in the media, acting like it's over. Like, we all love you. Like, go out on top. That's how I feel about it.
It was Nick Saban-ish. Nick Saban started, he was complaining a lot.
Yeah.
He hated the NIL stuff. He hated everything. And then it was about time for Nick Saban,
Yeah.
Lost to
like the after the Michigan game when he was like the comments after about like the little he was like mad they were chanting little brother. He was like mad. He was like trying to still defend what's his name for the tripping stuff, and he was like, it's only because of the stuff from like earlier in the year. It's like, dude, like you gotta him sitting down and be like, I don't know what they're chanting little brother. I've never been anyone's little brother. Like, come on, dude. Like, it's the rivalry. What are you getting so like worked up for here?
Yeah, well, I'll say one thing. People need to decide right now if they're getting over on his Rakestraw or not, because he posted on his story, and prior to Detroit reposted a story, said Ennis Rakestraw is ready. He put on a story, fully healthy, quit asking, been healthy since December.
When did the football season end?
Like December.
January, right?
Well, for the Lions, yeah. Like, I guess.
Yeah, why didn't he play then?
Early January.
Why wasn't he playing then if he was healthy since December?
Well, that's a good question. That's a really good question. But just so you guys know, man, stop asking Ennis Rakestraw, bro. He's healthy. Quit asking.
Stop asking.
Like, I like the audacity. Fully healthy. Quit asking. No, we're gonna keep asking, dude. Because every year you've been in the league, you've been hurt, so we have to continuously ask for whatever reason. I mean, it's a talking point with Lions fans. Are you healthy? And even if you are healthy, do you stink? That's the question, people.
No one knows. I had to check when I saw this stuff this weekend. I had to check. I was like, all right, stop talking about it. All right, like how many snaps have you played in the NFL in 2 years? 40 snaps total. If that, how much were? Let me look this up real quick. Ennis Rakestraw snap count. How about this? Let's check this out. Like, how many snaps have you played to really for everyone to be like, yeah, I'm confident in him? And how many of them, Jeff, do you think were non-special team snaps?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say it's Low double digits.
Because in 2025 he had 0 snaps altogether. And then in how can I make this oh yeah, here we go. Snap by position. Here we go. This is interesting. Oh, sorry, he played 141 total snaps. 44 kick coverage. Let's do this. Let's just 141 divided by that. Or minus, sorry, 44 minus 18 for kick return, minus 2 for punt coverage, minus 26 for punt return, minus 5. Oh, he was on field goal block. Oh, he's down to 46 snaps in 2024. Didn't play in 2025.
Wasn't too far off there. Yeah.
Stop talking about the guy that for 2 years has played 44 snaps on defense, 46 snaps defensively for you. Stop talking about it. He's going to be good. He's proven to you in 46 snaps. He's the greatest to ever play.
Yep. And if you look at his transactions on Pro Football Reference, there's been 6 total transactions. 2 of them had to do with him signing with the Lions after he got drafted. The other ones are IR. He had 4 IRs in like a year, 2 years. So it's like that being placed on IR or activated from IR and then being placed on IR. So that's been the storyline with Dennis Rakestraw. Is like, dude, he's just constantly hurt. So yeah, forgive fans for asking for healthy Dennis Rakestraw because you're constantly hurt. So, I don't know. I think for I really hope the Lions do get something out of him. It does kind of feel like he's going to go down the Josh Paschal route where, even if he does play, it's hard to really say whether or not he'll live up to his potential. And then at some point it'll just be probably a divorce. That's just kind of how it feels like it's going already. And he's only been on the team 2 years and he's been injured for a whole year of one of those. And the other year you just mentioned, he played 40 something snaps besides special teams. So it's like, he's not really contributing at all yet. So,
yeah,
it's hard to have faith in a second round pick that has 40 something snaps played besides special teams in 2 years.
Yeah, I think it's fair for people to constantly ask too. And as a player, like that's part of you being in the National Football League is having to like answer those questions constantly. And if you're an injury prone player, you're going to get that question a lot. Get healthy, try and stay healthy. And I know sometimes it's not people's fault, but you're like, that's part of the game, right? It was like the Marcus Davenport thing. Like he kept getting asked in Detroit and remember that one press conference at training camp with him where you could tell he kind of felt defeated because he was constantly getting asked that, but then he got hurt again. And it's like, hey, that's just, you get paid as much money as you do to get asked those questions. So you can't be mad when you're getting asked those questions. It's like giving up like in the season, giving up like 10 touchdowns and then in the offseason, then people keep asking you like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I've worked on it. Trust me, I'm good. It's like, well, actually, no, people want to see you that you actually worked on it and you got better at it. Like people will love to see you just actually play football next year.
And
like if I'm Brad,
no, go on. Finish your take, actually.
I would say if I'm Brad Holmes, I'm sorry. I know why we drafted you and everything, but you're going on year 3. You've given us 46 total snaps. You're a second round pick. If you were, and I'll tell you what, if Dennis Rakestraw was a 7th round pick or a 6th round pick, he would have been cut from this team already. That's a fact. If he was injured as much as he has, we've seen players that have been through this that are, picked later in the NFL draft and they get cut because they're not available. So for him, he's a 2nd round pick. They're obviously they're like, hey, there's still talent within him. Like we trust him. But yeah, this is an issue. And if you're Brad Holmes, you have to have backup plans in place. You can't go into this year thinking at all that Dennis Rakestraw is going to play football for you. And if he does, then it's a cherry on top. That's how you need to look at it. Because he's gone 2 straight years with nothing.
And I think Brad's approached the offseason kind of like that because he signed some corners. I think they'll probably they could even draft a corner. And I want to make this clear too, like what Nick P's saying. I feel like this fan base takes these injuries to a different level. It really isn't like these guys want to be hurt. It's football, an extremely violent game. No, he doesn't want to be hurt. I'm not blaming Dennis Rakestraw for being hurt. I'm just trying to be very frank and be honest. And that's like the reality. If you're not available, then you don't really have much value. You know what I mean? That's just and it's not all on Ennis. It's on, Brad Holmes. He was injured coming into the draft. So Brad Holmes took him. He's still injured. So I'm not saying it's all on Ennis. I'm not saying Ennis wants to be injured. It's unfortunate. It is football, but some guys just happen to get injured more than others.
Yep.
That's just the reality. That's where injury prone comes from. It's just how it is.
You can't look at it like that. Like, I feel like fans take it, too hard to this. It's like, no, like, you got to be available for fans to want you to play. You can't, in my opinion, you just can't look at it like that. And like, no one wants to be hurt. It's just like a guy that gives up a touchdown or a guy that makes a bad play. Like, they don't want to do that, but it happened. And you have to step up to the media and face the music at the end of the day because of it, right? Like, if you lose in the Super Bowl, those players still have to go do media availability and talk about it. And it's like, that's part of the game. That's why you get paid millions of dollars to go out there and do that.
Except Will Campbell. He didn't go do media.
Yeah, he didn't. And like this one too. And I don't know if Gumby meant this as like as a slay. I don't know. But just the first sentence of this, the average Joe would get hurt playing football. Like, yeah, but guess what? Ennis Rakestraw gets paid millions of dollars to not be an average Joe and play. He was a second-round pick. The Lions didn't pick me in the second round. If they did, that would be the dumbest thing ever because I would go out there and get hurt right away. You're a professional athlete. Like I get it. It's not their fault. Then like, I don't know, Jeff. Like that, I've always thought this with injury-prone players. I know there are players who just constantly get injured, but it's like, find a different way to take care of your body. Like, find it. Like, there are players who never get injured because they take such good care of their body. Like, do you think LeBron is just like, no, like, he takes care of his body at the highest of levels. That's why he's played as long as he does. That's why Tom Brady played as long as he does, because he took that stuff so series. Even
like Amon-Ra St. Brown, like that.
Yeah,
he's not the biggest.
He plays through injuries.
He plays through injuries, and he's a smart player, but he takes care of his body. He's in tune with that stuff. But and Rock Ya-Sin talked to the media and spoke about it in this Rakestraw. So let's take a listen to what he had to say here.
As a young player who's dealt with injuries, I was just curious, did you have any conversations with him either during the season or this off season? I guess, where do you think his head's at?
Yeah, me and Ennis pretty cool, man. Like, Ennis is a really talented young player. I like that guy. He has a right mindset and mentality. I think he's gonna be a great player in this league for a long time. I think he's gonna play until he doesn't want to play anymore, 10, 12, 15 years, whatever it is. I think he has a really bright future. I always tell him that you have a really bright future. All you gotta do is just get healthy. Once he gets healthy, the sky's the limit for that guy. So I'm excited to see him do things this year and then the rest of his career as well.
It was playing under.
Now, I one thing I will not do is actively root against anybody. I'm not going to root against Ennis Rakestraw. I want the guy to be great, okay? I think it's awesome. It helps the Lions. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, Rock is saying this. He's ridiculous. He very well might have potential. You don't get drafted that high if you don't have potential. Clearly he does. Clearly he was he was looked at as a very good prospect, even with the injuries. That's why he fell. Like someone put in the chat, it was spot on. He fell because of the injuries. So I think he has potential. The problem is he's just not available to really display it. And even when he's out there, he hasn't been out there enough to really get comfortable. So it's like, the guy plays and it's like, like he played in the preseason, didn't look good, and then he gets hurt. So it's like, that's all we really have to work with. It's not like these guys probably know more about Ennis than we do because they see him in the locker room. They get to see him in different walks of life that they get to know more about him. We only can see him on the field, and we don't get to see him on the field. And when we do, it doesn't look great. So hopefully this year, one thing Brad can't do, and he's done a good job of, I think, of this offseason, is being like, we can't depend on this man to come in and play nickel. Like Roger McCreary can play nickel. Isian can play nickel. Like they have guys that are capable of playing that spot. But if like you said, you should treat it like, hey, if he does anything for you, good. And if he doesn't, it's it happens. Whatever. It's a bust. It's a second round pick. It is what it is. So I'm rooting for the guy. I really hope he can.
Spot on. You have to have a backup plan because when guys get injured as much as he has, you can't, that would be if Brad did that and he's in the back of his mind, like, hey, we got Ennis, then that's the reason you've ran into the issue you have the last 2 years on the defensive side of the ball, because you rely on guys like Marcus Davenport or those different players. And, there's a really high risk, right? There's a high risk, but also a reward. But the reward is very highly unlikely because the track record shows that. So hey, you can give him another chance and let him run through another offseason and try and stay healthy. But I think this is a make or break season for Ennis Rakestraw. And I know, again, him being injured sometimes probably isn't his fault, and it would suck if he gets injured again. But if he does, you're in year 3 now. I think it's one of those things where This is a massive year for him. And sadly, if he doesn't work out this year and he's injured all season again, then that's one of those guys you just have to kind of move on from. Kind of like the Josh Pascal situation, or Levi O's still around, but it's kind of like one of those situations to where you're like, hey, you really haven't given us much. Or even you can even say kind of like the Broderick Martin, where Broderick Martin was injured here and there, but he more so just didn't live up to the play. But it just kind of turns into that, which sucks. But he's like kind of this offseason's Josh Pascal, in my opinion.
And Josh
even
got
less so
with what, a year left?
A year left, which that would be honest. He would have still one more year left on his deal. But again, the difference with him and Josh is like Josh, at least throughout his first 3 years, showed us like he was really good in the run game. He was a good edge runner, kind of a defensive lineman for you. Ennis hasn't showed you any of that yet. Like you've seen 40 total snaps out of him, and that's it. So you're basically just going off
Josh
of
didn't
potential.
live up to the second round pick, but at least he was playing. There, like, I mean, he got banged up here and there, but at least he not last year as much, but the year prior he played a lot. He played a lot of football for you. So it's like at least we got to see, and he didn't live up to the second round pick, but
he was productive at a time for you when you needed it. Josh was, but he still got cut because of the injury thing. And I think that's kind of the position outside of the play that you saw from Josh, just in general with the injuries. That's where you're at with Ennis now. By the way, too, AG's burner. Boone's been watching Todd McShay hair tutorials. I mean, that's a compliment, right? Todd McShay's hair is like, that's what he's known for.
You'd rather have Todd McShay's hair than like a Mel Kiper comp, I guess.
Yeah, you get the Mel Kiper comp. I'll take the Todd McShay comp.
That's fine. I'll take Mel Kiper. He's awesome. Yeah, you see Roger McCreary chose to come to Detroit because of Dan Campbell.
Oh, dude. By the way, Roger McCreary, after we got on with the show on Friday, the next day I think I posted the Roger McCreary highlights. He's unbelievable. Like, for a guy that's going to be just a rotational piece for you, essentially, that's a heck of a pickup. It really is.
Yeah, he was in college. He was an incredible player. I mean, he hasn't quite lived up to that, but he's still a guy you can come in and play game. He can start for you. I think he's definitely a contributor. Play nickel, which they desperately need right now, and I like it because it gives you some security at nickel, which they don't have. And they got him for look at price point difference between him and Amik. Amik Robertson's making what? What did Amik get? Like $7 million or something like that? 6-7 million,
something around there. Yeah,
6-7 million. But then now you have Roger McCreary, probably making barely anything to come in and play nickel. So it's like. Yeah, Meek could play outside, but McCreary's played outside before. So it's like,
did they release what his contract was? McCreary?
Let me see. It's a 1-year contract, but I doubt it's anything more than what Amik got.
The only one I saw was the Izzian one, but the Izzian one I don't even know what it was because I said to you, Spotrac put it out. And there was like no guarantees, no signing bonus. I don't know if I've ever. And then they actually put it back out, and they were like, "Oh, we actually got this wrong. We're sorry." And then they were going to fix it. Because I don't know. Have you ever seen a contract that's for a guy like that's like a kind of a vet, no guarantees and no signing bonuses for like a veteran player that's probably going to be on the roster? I've never seen that.
Christian?
Is he in?
Yeah, he's not. I mean, he's only like 25.
Yeah, but like he's a guy that's going to get snaps for you probably. And then on Spotrac put it out. They met. It came out that they messed it up, and I don't know what the new one was, but everyone was putting it out, and the Spotrac guy was like, "Oh, oops, we got this wrong. This contract's wrong." I was just like, I sent it to you guys in the group chat.
He is, to be honest.
Saturday.
Like he's kind of like He's kind of like the Buccaneers is like Rodrigo or like Nowoski, maybe a little better. Like how they had the chance to like what's it called? Like those like their 4-year contract went up and then they had a chance to re-sign.
Oh, they were a restricted free agent.
Something like that. Yeah. The Lions just signed him. So he's a.
But do you see what I'm saying with the contract? Is that like for someone like him to sign a contract offers for him to sign in Detroit and them to like it got put out, it was like no guarantees. And then no signing bonus. It's like, so he's only going to get game checks or something? Like, how does that work in? I was like, there's no way. And then they ended up fixing it. But I was taken aback for a second for a guy like that.
Let's bring on our friend here, Kory Woods, covers the Detroit Lions for MLive.com to we'll give his insight to what's going on with Detroit Lions free agency. Kory, how we doing, my friend?
Tired.
Yeah, I can only imagine, brother. You've been grinding. The last week has been hectic. You've had, all the guys speaking to the media.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just kind of get your thoughts. We'll start it off with just your opinion on how this has kind of went so far. We're about a week to date of like the first big week of free agency. I know there's still plenty of more time, but what are some of your takeaways just from the Lions' approach so far? And are you disappointed? Did you expect this? Not expect this?
Only thing that I did not expect was the Roy Lopez exit. I just thought that for the production that he gave them last season, that he was going to be due for a pay bump, and I thought he would have got it here because he's a great rotational interior guy. You can have him there with a Leem and Tyleek Williams. So I thought that for the money that he got, I thought like, hey, you could have gave him that. But again, we don't know if they offered him that or not. And then two, he got the money and he's going back home to where he's from. So it's kind of really hard to fault that. And the Alex Anzalone deal turned down more money reportedly from other places. Reports did not say that if the Lions were one of those teams that offered him more money, but when you see him go to Tampa Bay for 2 years, 17, that's a little bit shocking. Same thing with Al-Quadin Muhammad. When you see the money that some of these guys got paid in the first wave of free agency, you were thinking like, oh crap, he's probably thinking somewhere between 10 and 12 million, maybe 13. And he goes for 1 year, 6 million. And then you hear his introductory presser with the Buccaneers, and he says he's not really sure what happened to him not remaining in Detroit. So that's kind of that those are some of the, I guess you say, shocking. Roy Lopez was a shocker. Alex and Al-Quadin were shockers for the money. But as far as how the Lions are moving with their signing the free agents, I'm not shocked about that at all, because it's pretty much what everything has been coming out and saying, from the reports and from what they've been kind of moving. They're not really about to make any big splashes. Looks like they're trying to do a youth movement, move out some of these older guys, move in, trying to, I don't want to say rebuild, but retool on the fly and infuse some younger competition into the room.
Yeah.
I will say that I was shocked to see guys like Greg Newsome II and Braden Smith to come off the board for the number that they did, and you didn't hear about the Lions being in the mix for those guys. I don't know whether they were or not, but just when you see what those guys got paid, it's like, that's a pretty reasonable deal. So the splashes, I'm not shocked about. Some guys you can argue whether they got overpaid or not. You're worth what somebody is willing to pay you and what you're willing to accept. But when you just see some of the more reasonable deals like Smith and Brady Smith and Newsome, you're kind of wondering like, you guys probably should have been in on that if you weren't.
Yeah, Kory, I do want to ask too, like within the free agency, I thought a lot of people felt like the defensive line was going to be somewhat of a priority, whether that was AQM, Roy Lopez, and DJ Reader still isn't signed back with the team. Are there any like concerns for you now that and you kind of mentioned it with some of those other players at different positions, but a lot of the D line in the free agency is kind of already signed. And there were a lot of shocking deals that felt a lot lower than people expected. Are you shocked that they haven't made a move on this D line and they're just sitting there right now, especially in the edge room, like with Hutch and Ahmed Hassani, to where those are kind of like those two guys right now, and they really haven't added to that room? Is that shocking to you? And then if so, like who do you see them still having an opportunity of going and getting here in the next week or so?
No, I'm not too shocked as far as how they've been moving. I think they were letting that first wave go. Let a lot of guys get their bags. So again, like I said, you can argue some of those were some gross overpays, but that's neither here nor there. There's still talent out there they can get. Who knows? They might be able to work out some type of hometown discount with DJ Reader. He's expressed that he would like to remain in Detroit, and he just feels really comfortable here. There's still a guy out there like Calais Campbell who can play inside and outside. I know people might look at his age, but I mean, if you go look at his production, skip the age, look at his production. It's been consistent body of work, and he's a starter still in this league. And I know the Lions tried to grab him before. Things did not work out. Who knows? Maybe they might kick tires on him again this time around. And then when you're looking at the edge rusher depth, I still believe that they need to do this. They need to go ahead and go grab a seasoned veteran to put out opposite Hutch, and then still go take an edge in those first 2 rounds. There's still guys out there like Cam Jordan, Jadeveon Clowney, Joey Bosa. Those are just 3 names on the top of my head that you could probably go grab. I think that Cam Jordan, just from a few things that I'm reading, he might be a little bit out of their range because he was getting a roughly $8 million last year from the Saints, and apparently he's looking for, some type of respectable pay bump from them. So who knows? You might talking about him looking somewhere between 10 and 13 million. Who knows if that takes them out of the Lions range? But I think that is a guy that you would really want to bring in off the simple fact that he has the relationship with Dan Campbell. He's played in this defense. Out of the 15 years he's been in the league, he's only missed 2 games. And he's only had 3 seasons where he's had less than 7.5 sacks. So just having that guy opposite Hutch, that could be pretty deadly. And then also he could mentor that young defensive line room as well. So I mean, it's a lot of talent out there. They can still go grab, but I think nailing this second wave of free agency is going to be real key for them.
Yeah, Kory, I want to ask you just on the offensive line, your thoughts on Cade Maze. I know he spoke to the media. What was kind of your impression of him? I know besides Tyler Linderbaum, who got paid, he was like one of the next best kind of guys. So it was a good signing for Brad considering the price point. But what has kind of been your impression of Cade Maze? And then Larry Borum, and they paid him. He's from the area. And I guess the second part of that question is there a chance that Larry Borum could be your starter week 1? So Cade Maze, impressions of him, and then Larry Borum, and then could he be a starter for this game?
Okay. Cade Maze, I think it's a phenomenal deal. I talked to Sheena Quick, who's a Panthers beat reporter, just to kind of get a read on him.
Wait, is that who you introduced this to, Kory, by the way?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay, cool. Yes. Shout out.
Yeah, so I spoke with her about Cade, and she said he's a guy that can play all across the line. He excelled at center. And also one thing that she mentioned that I actually saw for myself, the Panthers fan base is not happy that the Lions got him. When they saw the money that the Lions got him, they were pretty upset. They felt that the Panthers should have kept him in the room for that amount of money. So if it makes Lions fans feel any better, you got a coveted center that another team did not want to let out the door. And also too, I think it was solid that they went out and got their starting center, because there were talks about moving Rattledge over to center. And I know some people who say, well, he cross-trained at center last year. They cross-train all of their linemen. Yep. They cross-train all of their linemen. And the fact is this, Rattledge is comfortable at guard, and he did not take a single snap during his 5 years at Georgia at center. Why would you put him at that type of position right now? Don't do it. So the fact they went out and got a starting center, I think that was real huge for Brad. As far as Larry Borum goes, look, at the end of the day, I know people are looking for starters. Fans should be looking for starters. Fans should be looking for the Lions to go out and replace, a Taylor Decker, a Graham Glasgow. They should be, they should be looking for that. But at the same time, you can go nail a starter and you still need depth. So I think the fact that they went out and got a guy like Larry Borum from the area, a standout at Birmingham, Brother Rice, guy that wants to be in the city, and he can be, I guess you can call him a Dan Skipper replacement. You can call him a guy that can just be a rotational piece, a swing tackle, whatever, however you want to label him. You need the depth. It's not Madden. You got to go out and go scout and sign who you can at the moment. I still think they need to go out and try to get as much talent as they can on that offensive line. I think they're probably going to look more towards the draft with the way things are going. Like I said, when you see a guy like Braden Smith come off the board for what he did, it's like, oh, okay, you could have went and got that, and you could have plugged him in right there. So I think it was a solid. Him being a starter remains to be seen. Training camp comes up, guys always beat out somebody else, and that happens. But I think for right now, just kind of consider him to be more of a rotational depth piece.
What do you think, Kory, about the linebacker situation with Alex Anzalone leaving? Rodrigo's coming back, and then like how do you see them replacing? Do you think they end up getting another linebacker in free agency, or do you think they're going to roll maybe with Jack Campbell, Rodrigo, and Derek Barnes and Trevor Nowaski, and they feel comfortable enough for some of those guys to step up in that spot, or do you think that they're still out there looking, or might bring in a rookie to fill that hole in? What do you think on that?
If I were a betting man, I would say they were probably going to pick up somebody in free agency. I just don't, replace. It's hard to replace Alex Anzalone because he was their best coverage linebacker. He was a guy that he was the 5-time defensive captain, real strong command of the defense. And I mean, that's going to be Jack wearing with the green dye now, but just replacing Anzalone is going to be difficult. So I think that it would be wise of them to go out and grab a savvy veteran who was out there on the market and still probably draft somebody in the later rounds and coach them up just like they did with Rodrigo.
Yeah, and Kory, my last one for you, Isaiah Pacheco. We were talking to our good friends Caleb and Lukas, and there's some people here on Crunch Time, me and Booner, we like the deal. So I think where Caleb and Lukas are coming from is more so they don't mind the price point, but they thought they could have gotten a better running back given the, last 2 years for Isaiah Pacheco been kind of banged up, but we know what he was his first 2 years. What do you think of the signing, the price point, the impact, just the high? It looks like it's a signing that's $1.8 million, which is super cheap, with an upside to be a very good signing. But it doesn't also guarantee that he should be the RB2. Kind of, what do you think of them bringing in Isaiah Pacheco, and what type of player do you think they're getting in Isaiah Pacheco?
Steal. It's a low risk, high reward on a guy. I mean, it's for $1.8 million. Look, first off, I don't really think, and this is no disrespect to the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't really think that highly of the offensive line that they had for the past couple of years. And even with the Lions rebuilding on the fly, I still think that they're going to go ahead and put out a better offensive line than what the Chiefs had. So that's one thing right there. Two, Lions are going to have to, I don't want to say they're going to have to be tricky with his snaps. They're just going to have to, I think in general, the Lions might have to scale back on how they on their practice methods, because one thing that has been out there, and it's no secret, they practice full patch more than anybody else in the league. And I think that might kind of contribute to some of the injuries. So, I don't think you got to put the guy in bubble wrap. Just be smart about how you use him. You already got him at Tashard Choice working on some things, pointing out his vision, stuff he has to work on. And also, too, look, it's the NFL. All guys have injury concerns. Don't forget, when the Lions landed David Montgomery, he came to Detroit with injury concerns himself. David Montgomery did not play a full 17-game season until last year when he was the clear RB2 behind Jahmyr Gibbs, which, Pacheco's going to be. He's going to be the clear RB2 behind Gibbs. So I think that with him having the limited snap count, I think that it can work out just fine. He is not going to be Sonic and Knuckles. But it can be something totally different that is just as lethal for this offense. You have an angry, nasty runner. All you got to do is just get him right.
Yeah, I saw I saw Pacheco post on a story and tag Gibbs. It was like the new duo or something. Gibbs didn't reshare it yet because he's probably like, I don't know if I should. Yeah.
Who cares about the reshare? They probably, DMing and all that stuff. Look, people know that the Lions are cash strapped.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're able to go out and get a guy, it's not like, it's not like they got somebody who is, respectfully not a respected running back or a scrub, so to say. They went out and got a guy that, if he's healthy, this is a home run hit. This is a home run steal. If he's not healthy, guess what? It's a 1-year, $1.8 million deal. It ain't y'all money. They still have enough money to go operate. All things considered, this is the best case scenario for them for an RB2.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the hell out of you, Kory. Go get some rest, my man. Hopefully, another busy week. I hope it's busy. I hope it keeps busy. But we appreciate the hell out of you. You guys can check out Kory Woods, of course, on X at Kory Woods. Keep up the great work, my friend. Check his work out at mlive.com. We'll talk to you soon, Kory.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Kory.
Kory Woods joining the show, giving us his opinion on Lions for agency, and that stuff still is continuing. We are still waiting on more signings. I know they did bring in someone to visit today.
I liked it. I know some people don't. I do.
Well, let me. I'll show you who they brought in. So we posted it on our Twitter, which you guys should be following, or our X at official CT Pod. They are bringing in a guard, or he's more of like a versatile, I guess, offensive lineman.
Really a left guard.
Yeah, he played guard, and then I saw he flirted with some tackle. He's got some versatility to him, I think. Ben Bartch, who
I would bet he's just a guard.
Yeah,
I think the flirt with the tackle might have been like 10 snaps here and there. He's played all guard essentially.
But he's played in 55 NFL games, started in 24 of them during his 6 seasons in the NFL. Last season, he started in 2 games at left guard for the 49ers.
Yep.
You said you like it. So you could go first. Tell me what you.
Well, I think and I know what the pushback's going to be for you, Jeff. If obviously I have a good feeling you might not like it, and I think a lot of people in the chat don't like it. I said last week, and a lot of people as well, I think in Lions world felt like as of right now, you know what I mean, for being cash strapped as much as you are, whatever the saying is, I felt like they've put together a good offensive line, and with the thought process of them adding maybe a left tackle or a tackle in the first round. I think that everyone's okay in saying, okay, the interior right now is not as bad as everyone, thinks it is, because you did get Cade Maze. You have Tate at right guard. You have Juice Scruggs, who's going to fight for a spot potentially at that left guard spot with Mahogany and drawing a blank on our LSU guy, but Miles Frazier. You have that battle going. So at this point, like any additional add, in my opinion, anyone else that you bring in is more so just kind of a cherry on top. And I know, Jeff, you don't even, I don't even know if you have to say it. You might not even have to go after me. The Ben Bartch thing. Oh, he was on IR a couple times last year. He's been hurt. He's always hurt. This and that. Brad loves his hurt guys. Listen, this is a guy that's just going to come in and be depth. Like, he's not coming in. He got hurt last year because he started for the San Francisco 49ers in week 1 and week 2. I believe he got hurt in week 2. And then when he got healthy again, I believe he stepped right in to start again and then maybe got hurt once again. And that's not going to be his role on the Lions offense. They have their offensive line kind of set basically. And you would at least hope so. And they feel comfortable with it when they draft a first round draft pick at tackle. This just, to me, it's like he's not going to play tackle. He's played guard essentially his whole career. He's just a depth piece interior. I think more people need to look at this and be like, thank God that they're actually starting to add some interior offensive line depth, because they haven't done that. It felt like Tristan Colon, and Tristan, what did he do for you? Like nothing. At least this guy is if he's healthy, he's going to give you something if you need him. So I like it. I don't think this is, if they do sign him, I don't think this is it's one of those things where like last week, like Caleb's mad, like, why aren't we signing defense? Like, hey, bud, like sit down. They have to sign depth also. Like it's one of those things. I think someone tweeted out, it might have been like Justin Rogers or Jeremy. I think it was Jeremy Reisman. Like, hey guys, they're going to sign at least probably like 10 to 12 more free agents. Like they have to fill out their roster. And every single one of the 10 to 12 is not going to be the best player in the NFL or in free agency. There's going to be Ben Bartch signings. So strap in and shut up.
Yeah, I think it's a good signing if he doesn't play. He's more of depth, which I like. I think it's a good signing.
Great depth.
Yeah, I think he's good depth. I just think like that's really all he'll probably be, which is fine. Like I don't think for the price point you'll pay for Ben Bartch, it's going to matter, to be honest with you.
Dude, he'll be a vet minimum.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't really think it's really going to matter. I think Miles Frazier and Mahogany are going to scrap it out. And I think even like Juice Scruggs can play a little left guard too. So I think it's going to be those three mainly competing to play left guard.
Juice.
I don't know if Ben Bartch will be, I think it's more just doing their due diligence. Cause like you said, when he's played, he's not a bad player. It's just he hasn't played a lot, which is the only, which I guess is like the risk-free thing. You sign him, it's like, okay, if you get anything cool,
Like, I would rather. This is where I'm at with it. Like, I'm pretty sure Colby still might be on like a futures contract or like some of these guys that they just keep around. I would rather have a Ben Bartch for a vet minimum than a Colby Sorsdale back in the summer.
Oh,
like I do not want Colby to return to training camp. I would rather have Ben Bartch being there for training camp than Colby Sorsdale. And that's where I think people need to like wrap their hand around it a little bit and just be like, all right, they're gonna and maybe Ben Bartch ends up being healthy for his first full season in a year or two, and you actually end up getting something nice out of him. And I'm not saying like a full-time starter, but I'm saying if, let's say, Miles Frazier wins that position and he goes down for 3 weeks, Ben Bartch steps in at left guard for you, and he ends up being a capable left guard for you for 3 weeks. And then, whoever your starter is comes back. Like, that's how I look at it. To where in the past, like Colby Sorsdale, you're sitting there trying to develop guys, and they can't even give you a series, where it's like Ben Bartch will give you a couple games. So there's levels to it, in my opinion, and this is a little bit better than us rolling into training camp with a Colby frickin' Sorsdale.
Yeah, I'm excited to see I need to start seeing the Ben Bartches of the defensive line room. That's what I'm looking for.
Listen, I agree, but these are signings, and they haven't signed him yet, but these are signings that you have to get depth on the O-line. So I get it, but again, these are ones where like these have to happen, guys.
Yeah.
It's a must.
Yeah, just some context for people. Like he started in 2 games last year for the 49ers, and then he went down with a Liz Frank injury that required surgery.
What is it? What?
Liz Frank.
What is that?
I don't know. It's a bad foot injury. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but it needs surgery. Pretty bad, though. Pretty bad. Missed time earlier in the year with a high ankle sprain.
Isn't Liz Frank like a famous person?
Probably. High ankle sprain earlier in the year, had a quadricep injury in training camp, placed on IR in 2024, and 2022 had a serious dislocation of his knee with some ligament damage. So he's if he's healthy and playing for you, he's depth, and he's not bad. I'll say that.
The fact he's still grinding this thing out, I respect it.
I respect it. That's the positive spin on it. You know what I mean? If the role I expect him to play, it's fine. Okay. When healthy, he's a better player than, like you said, Colby Sorsdal, if he's on the team. I don't even know if he's still on the roster or not. I really don't even know. But if he is, then yeah, man. Ben Bartch is better.
Oh, what a bust. Shout out to Colby, man. Would you think he'll ever play in the NFL again?
No. I don't think so.
It's tough.
He's was he William and Mary? I think he was William and Mary.
Yeah, he was. Tell me a great NFL player out of William and Mary. Go.
I don't know. I know that another tackle got drafted a year ago from William and Mary. That was I don't know. He came out last year. Lukas really liked him. I can't think of his name. Do you know a player from William and Mary that was good?
I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, okay, you're looking it up.
I have no clue.
Charles Grant. Is it Charles Grant? I don't know.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah. I just looked it up. Charles Grant. I got that one right. But I don't know if he's a great player. He plays for the Raiders.
Yeah,
and he actually wasn't that bad. I don't think he was that bad. Maybe Charles Grant has some of that. Who knows?
Dude, I don't know if there's any good players. Darren Sharper. Jim Ryan. Yeah, I don't know how Brad Holmes looked at the players.
Lukas just dropped the BW Webb in there. That's a great player.
No one.
Wow.
BW Webb, it says here, years started in the NFL 2.
What a pull by Klotz.
Yeah, he started 2 years for your
Nate Lynn. Lynn.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah. People are proving our point.
Shout out Nate Lynn.
I don't know why Brad Holmes looked at William and Mary and went, yeah, I think we get a star from there.
Yeah, I think he put, let me see this. Al Karsten put this out about Ben Bartch. This is what he said. Free agent Ben Bartch. He started at left guard in each of his 2 seasons with the 49ers. 26 career starts at left guard and right guard. 2025 PFF grade, 71.7, 22nd among offensive guards, 6'6", 309, 32-inch arms, almost 33. 0-star tight end. Moved to backup tight end to left tackle before his junior season, started the next 2 years there. Notably gained 70 pounds to move to offensive line, thanks to a shake consisting of 7 scrambled eggs, cottage cheese, grits, peanut butter, bananas, and Gatorade.
Wait.
That was that guy?
I was just looking it up because I remember seeing that video at the comp. That's him?
I guess it's him.
I got the video here. This is Ben Bartch?
Which he
I'm
famously
all
made
in.
for Colleen Wolfe during the 2020 NFL Scouting Combine broadcast.
You got it? Can you see my screen? Can we play this? Are we allowed to?
Fire it away.
Oh. It's actually not that bad. I have a question here, though.
Wow. That's incredible.
And he put grits in the shake.
Yeah, I mean, this
Grit.
guy, I mean, that's a line
The
right
grit
there.
has been a part of this man since he started. I mean, he gained 70 pounds doing that. That's 7 scrambled eggs is
I wonder how that tastes. It has to taste like decent for him to drink that every day. You know what I mean?
yeah,
you
like
wouldn't
why the
drink.
red Gatorade? I wonder what's the
Yeah, you wouldn't drink that if it tasted bad. Like you wouldn't like just put yourself through it just to do it because you could easily find other ways to make that. Must taste good. Well, I think we have to try that on air one day.
I just want to know why. I'm curious about the red Gatorade now. That might be like the thing that makes it taste good. It's like a secret. That's like the part of it. I mean,
Maybe I think it is. He's probably tried every color, and then he's like red's probably like red really put it together.
I mean, they threw in the red Gatorade in there. Wow.
We can't knock it until we try it. We got to try it before we knock it. You know what I mean? It could be like an incredible recipe.
Look at no wonder the guy can't stay healthy eating shit like that.
Oh, that's funny, dude.
Yeah, I did not know. I know I did see that clip, but I didn't know it was Ben Bartch. Now I'm invested.
I didn't know that was him, dude. I'm all in. Oh, great point by Gumby. The strawberry banana, red Gatorade with the banana.
Just there's strawberry Gatorade.
That red isn't strawberry?
No, it's fruit punch.
Oh, okay. No, yeah. Well, fruit punch, a fruit punch smoothie.
Yeah, I guess.
Come on now.
I guess. Yeah, I guess that does make sense.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Any guy that drinks a smoothie like that every day, he's got my support. I'm not messing with you.
Yeah, you know who needs to drink that, dude? Is probably they got to give that to like Emmanuel Forbes. Maybe you can get like JMO on that a little bit. Well, JMO's actually been gaining muscle though. You know, they got to give it. You know who could use it coming out of this draft is probably like Spencer Fano. Maybe Spencer Fano could take some of that because he actually sat down with Kay Adams and he talked about his comp being Penei Sewell, and he responded to that. There's a chance he could fall, by the way.
Is there a legit video of this? I didn't see this.
Yeah. He's talking about his comp.
You've been compared to Penei Sewell. I've seen those comps. What do you think of that one?
I mean, that's exactly who I would like to play like, you know? So any comps to him, that's pretty cool.
What would you ask him? I don't know if you guys know each other, but what would you ask him?
Shoot. I don't even know. I really don't know. I'd like to get a training session in with him. I was able to. I had a little training session with him when I was a freshman in high school. It was when he won the Outland Trophy. Don't know if he remembers it, but that was really cool.
You've been compared to Penei.
Hey, maybe Spencer Fano. He's about 300 pounds. He needs to gain about 15 pounds. Ben Bartch can get him on the shake. Get a little bit, get him bulked up like 15 pounds.
Get him on the shake.
I don't know if he's Penei. People would say based on his arm length. I guess that's knocking him. But if the Lions can get Spencer Fano, I'm all in. I was talking to somebody today at the gym, and they were just talking about the Lions' offensive line, and I was just like, you know what? I think the Lions are in a position right now, and we're going to get to our mock drafts in about 15 or so minutes, and you'll probably, I'm sure we'll have the discussion about what happens in the first round, but there's so many guys that are going to be around that 17th overall pick. Just looking at free agency and kind of, I don't know if they're going to add any more tackles. This is where I'm going with this, like kind of on the free agency conversation. I think their focus now is going to be more defensively, like defensive end. Maybe Ben Bartch gets signed, but I think it's pretty, what they got is what they got, in my opinion. And and someone asked me today, they're like, well, what are they going to do with the offensive line? I'm like, well, I think it's going to be a draft pick. I think the first round is probably, everyone's going to probably know what they're going to do heading into the draft. I mean, I don't think they didn't get Rasheed Walker. That's a guy who's a capable starter. There's not really any capable starters left in free agency at tackle. So it's like, maybe you're hoping like a guy like Spencer Fano falls, or like, Monroe Freeling's there you could trade up for, or, Blake Miller, who I don't, I'm not a huge fan of, but now I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. It's like he started a bunch of games. Like maybe they need some experience. I'm almost positive. I'm almost certain that we're going to have the starting tackle this year is going to be a rookie. I have that feeling. Yeah. Larry Borum will not be starting. I know Easy's had his concerns, and he's like, well, they paid him like a starter. Shout out Easy. Nah, he ain't starting, man.
I don't know if they paid him as a starter. $4 or $5 million is just that's just a backup like that's like not a starting tackle.
Something like that. I don't know what he said.
Yeah, but like a starting tackle is like 10 to 20 million. That's like you're like a legit starting tackle. I don't think being $4 or $5 million fully guaranteed is like, hey, dude, you're our guy now. Like that. I don't see that being the world. I'm with you, honestly. I'm fully with you. I think that your starting tackle comes from this year's first round draft pick, and I think it's one of those things too. And you're going to see our mocks here in a little bit. I think it's one of those things to where if specific players, like if Maui Noah or Freeling starts falling a little bit, I think Brad maybe gets aggressive to try and go up and snag one if one gets to 10 to 13. You know what I mean? Like, I think that happens. And then if one of those or if both of those guys go off, then maybe he sits there and waits at 17 for no. And then if he knows, like, hey, the runs on a tackle is about to happen, maybe he makes a move back. I don't know. I think that I think no matter what, you're going to see an offensive tackle based off of free agency in the first round. And I feel like they're going to like one of the guys here. I would be shocked if they don't. The only other option that I would see, Jeff, them not doing it is if in the second round they feel confident that they can get that. I feel like they really love that kid out of Arizona State. They had a formal with him. He talked about, having the conversation with Brad and them, and he said it went unbelievable. And that feels like a Brad Holmes type of guy. Max Ilachoro, or however you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
If they feel like they can get him in the second, I feel like they love him. But outside of that, it was the first round, man. And I think everything's open. I know a lot of people trade back, trade up, stay. I think with this, like, you got to see how this tackle board falls. And depending on how it falls, then they're gonna make that move and strike. Whether that's kind of moving up a couple picks to grab a Monroe Freeling, or that's to move back and get a Blake Miller if they really like a Blake Miller, or even like a Caleb Lomu. But I think Caleb Lomu's a second round guy now. It feels like pretty consistently.
Yeah, I think I think guys that have experience should have an advantage, in my opinion. Like, I think Max, Ahanator, that's what it is. I think they just saw in the chat. I think that is how you pronounce it. Ahanator.
Thank you, Phoenix.
I think that's where he kind of gets knocked a little bit for me, is because, like, he has potential, but I think guys that have experience, and Monroe Freeling, I think, is the exception because he was just so good. And the
ceiling is so high too.
Yeah, and he's been playing in the SEC and playing very well. And it's like, okay, Max at Arizona State, like he just started playing tackle a couple years ago. I don't know if you got to, like, Blake Miller. As much as I'm not like a massive fan of Blake Miller, he has the most starts in Clemson school history. Like, he has like over 1,000 starts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a guy like that could step in day one.
Yeah.
And start, you know what I'm saying? Which, like, not saying you force your hand because he can start right away, but that has to matter, right? Like Caleb Lomu, I know he's a later, maybe if you want to trade back, but he started 2 years at Utah at left tackle, like last 2 years. I think guys that can start, that have started a good amount of games, maybe exception Monroe Freeling, is probably more of the the feeling I'm getting, to be honest with you, in the first round. And I know people are like, what about defensive end? It's like, well, I don't know. What about him? I don't know. It's like, you need a defensive end. I understand that. But I look at it like this. The drop off, in my opinion, at tackle from first to second is much greater than defensive end from first to second, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if you're looking for a starter this year, Jeff, like to your point, you like you said, you feel like there's going to be a starter, like
or 1,000 snaps. Excuse me, 1,000 snaps, not starts. Over 1,000 snaps played. Anyway.
Were you saying 1,000 starts?
I missed that. Yeah, that was my
but I think to your point a little bit, to where if like, hey, if you feel like that your starting tackle is going to be a rookie this year, I think you need to prioritize getting one of the top 3 guys. Like if you really have that feeling. And like Caleb Lomu probably doesn't fall in that kind of realm. He falls more so like 7th or 8th best tackle in this class, to where I'm not going to say I'm out on him like fully, like I don't want to draft him. But if you're looking at getting a guy to come in right away and kind of you feel like comfortable having him playing snaps for you in year 1, I think there's only a handful of guys at the top of this tackle class that can do that for you right away. And I think it's obviously Maui Noah, it's Monroe Freeling, Spencer Fano, and then I think, and I know a lot of people don't like him, and then people in the chat are saying it, but I think Caden Proctor does fall into that category, to where he's played a lot of football. He does have the size. He might be a little slower, but he's someone that if you really need him to step in and play, I think he could do it for you if you needed him to. And then I think after that, like I don't think anyone after that you would put in a category of, hey, right away he can come in. Like, yeah, there's the side of, hey, they can start for you at some point, but it's going to take a little time. And I think that's where like the Arizona State kid come into place. Blake Miller maybe could start right away, but that could be an option later in the first. But then the Caleb Lomu one, I know there's a lot of questions on him. Lomu could play, but I think I could be wrong. Is Caleb Lomu a little smaller as well? To where I've seen some questions around him, and he's been and like Jennings Dunker, someone like Phoenix, that's my guy. He's a guy as well that people are kind of questionable. Like, hey, can he start right away for a team? Like, is he going to be able to step in and play right away? And listen, some of these guys probably can, but I think it's more so like if you need a guy right now, like day 1, week 1, whoever your matchup is on September 8th or whenever that first Sunday is of football that you're going to be playing. If you want a trustworthy tackle, you have to you're going to have to get one of these top 3 guys, in my opinion. Like that's what it is. And if Brad has to be aggressive to do it, he has to be aggressive to do it. And give up a second next year, give up a third next year, whatever you need to do. I think he has to do it to be able to, build the offensive line that he wants. And then the edge, like you said, you can still get an edge in the second round. Like you can even trade back into the second round, back into the third round, and get an edge. But I think that's just more valuable, the position they're in offense line wise, to get one of those top 3 guys.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm very excited.
Top 4, sorry, Blake Miller. I'll throw him in there too.
Dude, I'm very excited for the second round. I think the second round has a lot of talented guys. I think just in general, like I think edge. I've already talked about Danny Dennis Sutton, Malachi Lawrence. You can look at other positions. I mean, linebackers. There's really good linebackers. I don't know if I could say the same though about tackle. Like Dunker is one of those guys that are going to be, a day 2 pick. But if you're looking at the crop of guys in the second round, majority are going to be every position besides tackle, more so. Like a guy, Jake Slaughter, if you want to draft a center, but like there's not a lot of tackles. I think Daniel Jeremiah is the first one who said that. I've said this before on the show. He's like, if you want to tackle, you got to grab one in the first round, it feels like, because no one knows what any of these guys are going to be. Watch, you look back, there'll be a guy in the third round who becomes a Pro Bowler at tackle. But as of right now on paper, just resume wise, it's first round tackles, man, in a year in which you need a left tackle. So, 17, it's kind of that sweet spot where it's like, it's might be too low to get some of these premier guys, but it might be too high to take some of these guys that are like the Lomus, the Blake Millers. That's where I'm like when I did my mock draft today, I struggled because I did trade up to get back in the top 100, but I didn't trade back in the first round because I was worried about losing out on one of those guys. But I also, you don't want to trade up to give up future assets, but I guess you might have to if you're gonna go and get some of these guys. So it's like I wonder what Brad does. And 17 is such an interesting draft. It's such a interesting pick because you're almost in the dead center of the first round at like a tackle where it's like there's back half of the first round tackles and like front half of the first round tackles, and you're in this like weird point in the first round where it's like, what do you want to do? You know what I mean? Like probably more people want to trade back and pick up another pick, but it's like, you better not go too far because then you might miss out on somebody. You know, it's like,
I agree.
It's tricky, man. I don't know. It's a tough position. I could see why Brad doesn't like going to the draft having a bunch of needs because then you're like, shit.
I'm starting to fall towards I'm starting to fall under the category to where I think there are some players that are going to be good in this draft. Just like, oh, good players. Like, oh, maybe they could be good. Maybe they're not. Like, in the chat, someone said Mesidor. You brought up, a couple of those guys as well, like Jennings Dunker and Caleb Lomu. But I'm just starting to fall into that side, Jeff, where I'm like, get me like the most talented player. Like go get me the best players. I don't want to go into the first 2 or 3 rounds and be like, well, we got 3 really good players that have some upside. And then
are we back to the quality over quantity this year where it's like people want quantity of draft picks, a bunch of picks?
That's what I think he was at when he was drafting well, was just quality players. And you could argue like 2023, quality players, he did have a lot of draft. It was quality and quantity because he had a lot of draft picks in the first 2 rounds. He got 4 basically Pro Bowlers. Yeah. But at the end of the day, though, he went quality. Like he was like, I want the best players. Like Sam Laporta was the best linebacker, or not Sam Laporta, Jack Campbell, best linebacker, off-ball linebacker in that class. Fact, right? And he goes, I'm getting the best linebacker in this draft class. Same thing with Jahmyr Gibbs. Obviously, Bijan went, but after that, he was like, I'm going to get the best player left in this draft. And he felt like that was Jahmyr Gibbs, which now he's a top 3 running back. You see, okay, got the quality. Second round, what did he do with Brian Branch? Brian Branch was a first-round draft pick, falls to the second round. I'm getting the best player on the board, Brian Branch. Boom. Felt the same way about tight end. I don't care about getting a tight. People are mad about tight end, second round, whatever. I'm getting the best tight end in this draft class. And that's where I think people are like, oh, well, let's, we can get 2 or 3 guys in the first 2 or 3 picks, and let's get some guys that are just good. Like, in my opinion, like people, I saw someone in the chat say, like, stop trading up. Listen, if Brad trades up for a Monroe Freeling or a Francis Mauigoa, good. He got one of the best players at that position. He got a future Pro Bowler. Instead of sitting back, trading back, and being like, let's go to 27 to get Caleb Lomu, who we don't know if he's going to even be a tackle. He might end up being a guard, right? And he might not even be a Pro Bowl guard. Or Jennings Dunker in the second round, where people are like, oh, no one really knows. He played tackle in college. He's been practicing and working out as a center. He's been in a guard. Like, no one really knows where he's at. Like, dude, no. Give me the best tackle in this draft class. Give me the second best tackle. That's where I'm at kind of with it. Instead of being like, hey, let me try and get some value here. Like, no. Like, give me the best players, man. Like, that's where I'm at with it. Is that crazy to think? I mean, that's the kind of mindset I've switched to a little bit after free agency, because you do have positions where you need starters now.
Yeah, my box, I've been having less picks. I'll say that. Like, not that I'm getting rid of all the picks. You need a good amount of picks, but I've been sticking around like 7 picks because I try and package picks to move up and get quality. That's what I've been trying to do.
Yeah.
And to your point, you might need to trade future capital and go get quality.
I traded it in mine today. I traded next year's second, and I think maybe a 4th or something. I made some moves, man.
Yeah, I didn't trade up in the first round, but looking back, I probably should have, to be honest with you. I think it's just important. They need a left tackle, they need an edge, and I think they'll sign an edge. I mean, we can freak out and talk about it, and it's irritating, but they're going to sign an edge at some point. They're going to bring in somebody. I just don't know if it's not going to be a long-term answer at edge, but it'll be somebody that can come in for a year or 2 and play some football for you. So yeah, the first 2 picks, it feels like if you don't walk out of the first 2 rounds with an edge in an offensive lineman, a tackle, people are going to be furious. And I would understand to a certain extent why, unless you trade up and get another player. But I keep seeing like Anthony Hill fall. I mean, PFF hasn't fallen. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about him when we do our mock draft.
I think there's going to be a world though that some of these linebackers do fall because Jeff, it is such quality. There is a lot of good players in this draft. So
Yeah, it's like guys could fall being even projected as like a early second, late first guy, and he falls to like 65 or something. I don't know. That's what I've been seeing at least. I don't know. I saw people, I think Kyle put this in there. I just don't understand how the beat writers say they're going for a youth movement, but then suggest Campbell or Jordan as potential ads. Like, what are we doing? LMAO. Well, I think he means like they're bringing in like a quantity of youth, but they're still going to have some veterans on the roster. But yeah, it's not like they're going to go younger at edge. I mean, all that's left are vets. All that's left really out there at edge, dude, are like 33-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 33, 37 with Cam Jordan.
To be fair, the only like really older guy that you got rid of that was like really impactful, and tell me if I'm missing someone, I think it's just Anzo, like 30-something years old. I think that might be the one position that everyone looks at, the youth movement.
Yeah, Khalif. I guess Khalif, they let go. He was like 30.
Yeah. But again, the youth movement, you have now either you're probably going to Isaac Tesla, and then also you're probably going to either bring someone else in.
I guess Decker would be another one.
Oh, Decker. Yeah, I forgot about Decker. Yeah, that's fair then on that one. But again, I mean, no, honestly, I still kind of stand on that, because when you say youth movement or you're trying to argue that it's not a youth movement, it really is, because they're probably going to draft an offensive tackle to replace Decker. Where Anzo, they haven't. They're not
like they got rid of Anzo, or they let Anzo go, and they brought back Malcolm and Trevor, 2 young guys.
Yeah,
they did.
So like
DB.
talking about
talking
the edge rusher room youth movement, like there still is a youth movement because Anzo's gone, but then like Taylor Decker, you're going to draft probably a tackle. Like that's essentially what it is.
Kyle says, I was speaking mostly for the D line.
That's fair, the edge room, but I think as a whole,
is Decker coming back?
I've seen this.
He hasn't had any. I don't know if he's at a market really. I don't know.
The first I actually saw someone bring it up was Braylon. I saw a clip of Braylon talking about it, and Braylon was like, hey, "Man, like sometimes you think you might be worth a certain amount, and then you go out there and you're really not, and you're like, wait a second." So that would be interesting if Taylor Decker's like, wait a second, I don't really have the offers that I want. I have the Tennessee Titans offering me because they just need players. Like, I don't want to go there.
Because if you're Decker's age, you have so many you have so many things you need to be that need to be checked. You want to go to a contender, and you also want to be paid correctly.
Yeah.
Those two things are, and now we're talking. Now we have to look at contenders, and then that shrinks, and then we have to look at contenders that have money, which that's even even less. And they can't have a left tackle, which is even less. So it's like, how many teams are actually in the market for Taylor Decker? It's like, okay,
to be
Tennessee,
fair,
he's not playing for Tennessee.
No, but to be fair, I could almost, in my mind, we're a week into free agency. If I had to guess anyone, especially we've dealt with Taylor Decker, we all know Taylor Decker, I would have to say Taylor Decker is probably in no rush of finding a team. He's probably, I'll just wait until the right one pops up. Like, who's Kansas City's left tackle? Didn't the Kansas City just let go?
They drafted that guy.
Oh, they drafted him. Yeah, I thought they just the right tackle they just let go of. Can they move Josh Simmons over? Go Taylor Decker. I'm throwing ideas out there and just seeing who's open right now.
I mean,
what if Trent Williams leaves the 49ers? Like, the 49ers would be like, we'll take Taylor Decker. Cheaper than Trent Williams. It is a little bit of a drop off, but it's not the worst replacement.
Not too far from Arizona, I guess.
It's a contender.
Yeah. I guess that's fair.
I think it's more so just sitting out and waiting. Like, I don't think in my mind, it's not that Taylor Decker's like, no one's reaching out to him. I'm sure he has some sort of market. I think
they're reaching out, but he probably hasn't. Nothing. He's probably like, he's probably taking his time.
He's in probably no rush.
There's a team that has a big hole at left tackle, Detroit Lions. You know what I mean? That's also a team that he could look at and consider. Big hole at left tackle. They're trying to win some games.
I wonder if they've had that conversation in house with him. Like when he left, like, hey, if you want to, like, it's the door is still open.
Well, the question is, okay, he goes to the 49ers. Like, what's his contract? Are they going to pay him $20 million because he didn't want to take a discount? Maybe. Or are they like, we'll give you it for like 15? And they're like, he's like, shit, that's what the Lions wanted me to restructure to. Like, he's like, son of a bitch. Like, it's not the money I wanted. I don't know. I think if he were to go to San Fran, it would have to be for the money you know what I'm saying? Like the money he wanted with the Lions, which is like probably his contract, I would assume. If he went there,
I can't
for
believe
like
Taylor Decker left because of the money. I can't believe that, dude. It's still like it kind of like I try to tell myself sometimes, Booner, it wasn't the money. They told him that he wasn't going to get the snaps or he had to earn his spot. So I try to convince myself that. But then the more the letter that he put out say that there was a conversation about restructuring.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think there might have been something within it. And then if that's the truth, it's like, dude, why'd you leave because of the money? He's gotten paid so much in his career, it feels like.
Yeah.
It's like you're a one team. Like, it was one of those things like Che that we have on our show. He had brought it up about Mike Evans. Like, dude, you're one helmet player. Like, no, like we don't want to see you with a different helmet. Like, only the Bucks. I feel that about Decker. It's like I don't want to see Taylor Decker in a different uni, man.
Yeah, I think he said he said since notifying the team my return, there have been numerous discussions, many of which were a surprise to me, and we could not find common ground. So therefore, I've decided to request my release.
What does that mean?
Like, what's common
Is that
ground?
money? Is that playing time?
So after he announced he was coming back, they couldn't come to common ground about probably something had to do with his contract.
Imagine it went down like this. They're sitting in the conference room. They say, hey, Taylor, hey, Deck, man, we're bringing in Larry Borum. You got to compete your job with Larry Borum.
He's like, hell no. Or what if he's like, no, Larry Borum's playing right tackle. You're competing with Panay.
Oh, man.
Good luck, my friend. Good luck. You versus Panay, best man wins. You know what I'm saying? The guy that
career's over.
The guy that changed to right tackle because Taylor Decker was there. That's the only reason why Panay played right is because Taylor was already there at left. Panay would have been your left tackle since he got here if Decker wasn't there, but he played right tackle because of Decker, and now that's why I think it's more open, more realistic that Panay ends up playing left tackle. People don't like it, but I don't know. Just being honest. Let's see. Zach says, do you think someone trades up for a defensive tackle, Peter Woods, or considers them at all and use a Liam to get another top 40 pick? No, they're not taking another D tackle. Someone will trade up probably for Peter Woods. Maybe the question being to get another top 40 pick.
I don't think they're going to trade a Liam.
That's the thing. I would answer your question, Zach. I don't think anyone will trade for a Liam until he proves he's healthy again. I don't. Maybe if he balls this season, and then maybe you want to keep him at that point if he ends up being a really good player. But even if he returns to like semi form, I think maybe there might be more interest. But nah.
Hey, honestly, Jeff, this would make me so mad, but I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. Brad Holmes goes D tackle in the first round. That would be the only. I think honestly, outside of maybe quarterback, there's no running backs that are going to be there besides Jeremiah Love. D tackle would be one where I'm a little like, dude, what are you doing? If he drafted D tackle, you would have to throw his job on the line. Like, hey, this better work out or you're out. Because then you paid Lee McNeil all that money. You used a first round pick on Tyreek, who didn't really live up to a first round draft pick yet. And then you're like, you know what? Let's triple down and go another D tackle in the first round when you need offensive tackle, edge rusher, safety, corner. Like, you need everything. And you're like, let's just get another D tackle. We let Roy Lopez walk for $6 million. We'll just get a D tackle in the draft in our first round.
We'll get Peter Woods. Yeah, let's get Peter Woods. Well, speaking of the draft, let's get to our mock drafts. It's Mock Draft Monday, where we do our mock drafts every single week. And this week, we're doing post-free agency mock draft, or at least first week of free agency. There's plenty of time, but we're basing our mock drafts on what the Lions need. Things change week to week, different scenarios. I decided to stay put in the first round, but trade back up in the top 100. So
yeah,
That's my scenario.
I just want it on record too. I didn't actually. I try my best on Mondays because I know you do yours in the morning on Monday. I try my best not to see what you did, and I had no clue what you did. I sent you mine, and then I saw you send the graphics in our channel, our Slack channel. We have like almost an identical draft.
Yeah.
And we're not even I did not even know who you drafted. I didn't see it until later in the day until you sent the graphics to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second. Where me and you right now are like.
Yeah. We saw the board the same exact.
Yeah. We've never been more synced up.
Yeah.
Did it.
I think honestly it shows that Lions fans probably are going to like these mocks because everyone should be probably on the same page right now. I think most people, maybe not. Maybe there's some people that hate this stuff, but we'll get to mine. You can see what I decided to do. So here's my mock draft. We'll start.
So we're Field Yates and who's the one guy?
Field Yates and Mel Kiper.
It's like that's what me and you were turning into for our NFL draft coverage.
It's yeah, I'll be Mel Kiper. I'll take the
I'll be Field Yates. Field Yates, by the way, fun fact, way smaller than I expected. I was like way bigger than him. I looked around like, wait a second. That's Field Yates?
Really?
Yeah, dude. I turned. I don't even know where you were. I just turned to my right. Field Yates,
yeah, Field Yates is 5'11". Yeah.
He was like shoulder to shoulder than with me. And he's 5'11, but he's like skinny 5'11, like small. And I was like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
I thought you were like 6'5" with the flow, dude.
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell.
It was like seeing Kevin O'Connell, where I thought Kevin O'Connell was like my height. And then we walked by him, he's like 6'8". And I was like, that's Kevin O'Connell, dude? Look it up to him. He was bigger than what's his name, dude?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel. He was towering over Mike Vrabel.
Now this mock's a little interesting. Bear with me here. I'll say there's two things I want to make very clear with these top 4 picks. You can see the trade on the right side. So I decided to trade back up at the top 100. I used basically 155, 180, and a future 5th to get it done, to move up basically 60 spots. You probably need more capital than that, just being honest, but I'm not figuring out the trades. That's for Brad Holmes. But all I know is I wanted to move up. So yeah, we moved up to 94. So I have 3 picks in the top 100, 4 in the top 118. And at 17, this is the predicament I was explaining to you, because I'm not in love with Blake Miller. I think he's a solid starter in the NFL. I don't think he's worth, in my opinion, the 17th overall selection, but I was in such a weird predicament because the way the board fell, there was basically Blake and Caleb Lomu, and that was it. So I just was in a spot where I'm like, yeah, I could take maybe Mesidor here, better player, but like we said earlier, it's like you need an experienced starting tackle, and it was Lomu or Blake. And I was like, man, I could trade back, but then I was worried about losing both of those guys. Potentially, I was going to trade back like 10 spots. That was the only trade offer that was being offered. Because again, you can't just pick where you trade. You got to have a team that's willing to trade with you. So I'm trying to be a little realistic. You got to have a team willing to move up to take your pick. So I didn't want to, I could just move back to 20 or 21. It's like, no, it was like 27, 28. So I had to make a business decision, and I pulled the Brad Holmes. I just drafted a guy because I thought, you know what, we have to have him. Blake Miller, the tackle out of Clemson. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, the thing that sells me on Blake Miller is really the experience. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and sell you the upside and say he's going to be the next Penei Sewell. He's a starting right tackle. He set the school record for consecutive starts at Clemson. Like, he has over 50 starts. Powerful run blocker. He can do the things the Lions want to do. He's big. He doesn't have really any issues with, like, he's just one of those tackles, man, that doesn't have any, like, the arm length or the weight. Like, he is what you get. He could be like a Taylor Decker replacement, basically. You know what I mean? He's a right tackle. Or he could probably slide to left, but.
Do you see what I'd say, though? Like, I think, like, and I think maybe you understand what I'm saying a little bit, where you do have a little bit of a gap between the top 3 or 4 tackles in this draft and then the next few, and then another gap to like the second round guys. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you want a starter, like a legit starter, I think, and Blake Miller might be that, and he might be a solid dude for you. But if you want like a Pro Bowl, like you're like, hey, this guy can be a Pro Bowl or an all pro tackle, I think you have to trade up for one of these top 3 guys. In Fano, Maminoa, and Freeling. And that's where I kind of get into that spot to where it's like, even if you traded back and went Blake Miller or Caleb Lomu, how worth it is it? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I agree with you. Like I said this, I'll say it as I'm breaking it down. Like I'm not in love with this Blake Miller pick. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not, but it's what I did. And like I mentioned, he's got the starts. He's projected as like in late first, early second. So I think this is overdraft, if I'm being honest. But the second pick in my draft, I love. I think this is perfect. Malachi Lawrence at defensive end. I drafted him early in our mocks in the third round, I think. But the combine he did really well. And I watched some tape. I actually watched tape at I was watching Sawyer Robertson at Baylor, and I kind of crossed paths with Malachi Lawrence because he destroyed Baylor in one of the games he played. So I was like, okay, this guy, he had like 2 sacks and a forced fumble or something like that. Malachi Lawrence is a freak, and he tested really well at the combine. So he obviously rose his stock. I will say not a great run defender, but still he's big, 6'4", 270. And I think he's got a ton of upside as a pass rusher. I think he can be like a maybe year one, I don't know, but in the next couple years, very productive in the NFL. So I like Malachi Lawrence. And then I got Anthony Hill at 94. This is who I traded up for. He was falling. I don't think this happens in any walk of life, but let's just say it does happen. And he's at 94. You have to take him. He's a projected late first, early second round player. Now he's a second round player. In this instance, he was a third round player. So I don't know how it happened. It's PFF. They do their different measurements, but Anthony Hill, he's just a freak. I mean, he's a freak. He's very productive. He just checks like every box. I don't know why he fell. I don't, but we'll take it and we'll roll with it. He's again projected as like a mid to late first round, early second round, but we'll take it. You want to talk about a guy who can replace Anzalone? It's Anthony Hill. He can cover. He can blitz. He's a playmaker, sideline to sideline guy. And Klotz will be very happy with this one. Him and Jack will tear up offenses for years to come. So I think this would be a home run pick. I think he also is I think he'd be a Lions guy, to be honest, just because of how he plays. And I think the Lions met with him actually. I can't remember if it was formally or informally, but I want to say formally, but I don't know for certain. But he'd be a guy that they would meet with for sure. He feels like a Lion based on his skill set. And then Jaylen Kilgore, I put DB because he really is just a DB. I mean, he could play multiple positions. He's a safety, corner, nickel. Like he's a very versatile DB, and got a lot of praise as the season ended. But now he's kind of projected usually in around 100 or so. So Jaylen Kilgore out of South Carolina, very intriguing DB. I think he'd be a really good DB in the league. And then Bishop Fitzgerald, I went back-to-back DBs, one safety strictly. Bishop Fitzgerald, playmaker. We talked about him before. I mean, when you look at ball hawks, if it's not Bud Clark, you're looking at a guy at USC, Bishop Fitzgerald. Gets interceptions is what you need. And at 204, great value. 212, Dcoin Wright. Receiving ability is what I look at when I look at Dcoin Wright. The body type, but also I love Tyler Conklin. I think he can actually contribute right away for the Lions, and I'm excited for him. I don't think it stops him from trying to draft a tight end. I don't. And even if the tight end doesn't work out for them, I think they still take swings because they should. They should take swings at a big-bodied receiving threat that you can put on guys and have mismatches. You can never have enough tight ends, I think, in this like Drew Petzing system. So I like Dcoin Wright as a late pick. Can play special teams as well. And then I took a running back, Adam Randall, out of Clemson. Another Clemson player. I took 2 Clemson guys. Oh, I don't know what happened with Clemson. Had talent all over the roster, just didn't do anything this year. And Adam Randall, perfect RB2 for Jahmyr Gibbs. He's a power back, 6'2", but he ran a 4.5 flat. And I think he's got some upside as more of like has his receiving ability, as a bigger guy. So I like it. Doesn't have Jahmyr Gibbs speed. But if you're looking for a guy on like 3rd and 1 goal line, I think he'd be a great fit. So I like Adam Randall as a late pick. And obviously the late guys can play special teams. So this is my draft. This is what I decided to do. Let me zoom out here so you guys can see. So I went tackle, defensive end, linebacker, DB, safety, tight end, running back. 7 total players drafted, 4 of them defensive players and 3 of them offensive players. So relatively balanced, went more on defensive, but drop your grade for my my mock draft. Only one traded up to 94, but no other trades.
I like it. I like it.
I think they trade more, but this is what I do.
Yeah, I think of the fact too, like I need to start doing a little bit more, like less picks, because we know Brad. Like I told you the other day that Brad hasn't even. I don't even think he's drafted like maybe 8 or 9 players. I think it's even less than that. I think it's like 7 or 8. 8 might be the max he's ever drafted. So yeah, I need to start doing that. That's what I need to kind of focus on, getting less picks. Because there's no way Brad Holmes leaves a draft class. What do they have? 10 picks right now? Is it?
Yeah,
9
like
maybe,
that.
but there's just no way that they're like actually going to leave with 9 players. They're trading up. They're going to move around, and they're only going to do 7 or 8.
Someone asked about a quarterback. I didn't take a quarterback. Something's changed, man. Like I didn't take a center. Like I've been taking Jake Slaughter every week. I just don't think they take a center. I don't, and I think the need for a tackle in defensive end is much bigger right now. So I didn't take a center this draft or a linebacker. So there's some changes. All right, we'll get to yours. I see my grades are already coming in.
Me and you, honestly, we have just a very similar draft, and it's honestly there's a lot of similar players as well. So I won't be as long, just because you talked about some of the guys. I traded up, and in my trade too, I gave up an extra second essentially. I gave up next year's second. I don't know that. Like I'm kind of like you with the trades. It's I want to trade up, and I wanted to add an extra top 100 pick. How am I going to do it? So I picked the team for this one. It was the Rams. The Rams traded back to 17, and then also gave up a top 100 pick, and I gave another one here. So I told you, Jeff, I said I'm starting to get into that mindset to where, hey, if you're going to get an offensive tackle in this first round, I look at it as lazy. And I'm not saying yours is lazy or anything, but I'm saying for Brad, where it's like, hey, if you're serious about adding a starting caliber all-pro offensive tackle, don't be lazy and just settle for a Caleb Lomu or one of these guys that might not, has the potential to be a Pro Bowler and a good offensive lineman in this league, but go at it. Like, go get a guy that has all-pro potential. Go trade up. I've done this a couple weeks ago. I traded up from Monroe Freeling. I've gotten him a couple times now, but I think it's at this point, man, be aggressive. Get your offensive tackle of the future. Don't waste the time on sitting back and settling for a guy. So I went and got Monroe Freeling. We know the ceiling that this guy has, Jeff. He could be your starting left tackle for the next 15 years. He's your next Taylor Decker.
I actually agree with this too. Like, I don't think Brad can afford to even miss on this pick.
No,
like,
and I think he kind of knows that. I think he has a feeling. He's like, hey, I need that. And listen, I do think there's a drop off. And again, it's not like a massive drop off. I think it's Pro Bowl to all pro talent with your first three offensive linemen in this draft class. And then I think it falls to just starter. So I'm going to go Monroe Freeling at 13. I didn't even know, Jeff, you were going Malachi Lawrence. I usually think if you're going 50 or 60, you're going Dennis Allen, Sutton, or whatever his name is out of Penn State. The Malachi Lawrence.
The two, that's really all I do.
Yeah, and Malachi Lawrence, every time I've done a draft the last few weeks, he's sitting there at 50. And I think, like you said, I think he just has. Again, you're not going to draft a guy, and I don't even think you will in the first round. Like, I know a lot of people talk about Mesidor in the first round, and you're not going to draft an edge rusher second half of the first round or the second round that's going to come in and be a starter for you across from Hutch right away. In my opinion, you're not. Like, if you sign a Joey Bosa or Cam Jordan, that's going to be your guy. And then whoever this next edge rusher is will be your rotational piece and get reps here and there and kind of learn it. And I think that's like where Malachi Lawrence is in this position. And I think you explained it perfectly with that, to where he's a pure edge rusher. He's a pure edge for you. You just get a guy with a lot of potential, a lot of talent. And I don't look at this being a second round of Malachi Lawrence pick to where it turns into like a Josh Pascal or a Levi.
No.
I don't at all. I think this is a guy that has a lot, in my opinion, maybe a little bit of a higher ceiling than those guys. Dude, he's extremely explosive and he's athletic, and it's kind of that ideal thing, like edge that you're looking for, in my opinion. Same on Anthony Hill. You got Anthony Hill at what, 90?
Yeah, which is insane.
I did another trade to get up to 61 because I was like, if Anthony Hill or a linebacker, if I can get 60, top 60-ish, and I can go up there and get a Jacob Rodriguez or an Anthony Hill, I feel like there's a world, Jeff, where Brad Holmes is looking at the linebackers this year, and there does feel like there are some linebackers who can step in for some guys right away. We saw how long maybe it took Jack Campbell to adapt to the NFL game, but he was able to step in and play football for you his rookie year. He was a top 20 pick. You're looking at a guy like, hey, some of these linebackers are at edge of that first, second round, maybe later in the second. If you can go up and get one of these guys, an Anthony Hill, a Jacob Rodriguez, maybe a Kyle Lewis, one of those guys, I think it's a heck of a replacement for Anzo for the next four-ish years. And I think they take a shot on it. Tacario Davis, I've talked about him a few times already. Just once you get outside the top 100 into these fourth rounds, I think you're just more so trying to find talent and just find guys that can go in and maybe make an impact for you. I think Tacario Davis, I've talked about how just his size. We keep talking about bringing in a bigger corner. You don't have any big corners on this roster. TA is kind of big. Tacario Davis is 6'4". He's just a long corner. Creates turnovers. He's not like a DJ Reed. He's not super sticky in coverage or anything, but he's kind of just a playmaker on the outside a little bit. And that's kind of, I think, that corner they're kind of missing. And if he becomes something he does, if he doesn't, it's 118, man. It's the fourth round. It's not the biggest of the deals. Katron Allen, running back, Penn State. We all know who he is. We've talked about him a million times. If you can get a running back, listen, this is the thing with, Caleb and Klotz that argue about. They're like, oh, the Pacheco thing, man. Hey, why don't you just get a rookie? Oh, I'll introduce you to something really cool, Jeff. Want to know something cool? There's this term called, hey, you could do both. That's a sick term, right? You could do both. You got a running back that has played a lot of NFL football for $1.8 million, and you can also still draft the rookie running back to come in and learn. And if Katron Allen or one of these rookie running backs comes in, and what's the one thing we've learned with Dan Campbell? Doesn't care who you are. If a player's better, they're playing. If Katron Allen's better than Isaiah Pacheco, you got your guy. And Isaiah Pacheco's gone after next year. No dead cap, nothing on the books. You're good to go. That's the beauty of what Brad Holmes did with Isaiah Pacheco. 180, you already know how I feel about Pat Coogan, Jeff. Absolute dog. He's like an Iron Man. A lot of people might think, hey, because you brought in Cade Maze, you're not going to draft a center. You signed Cade Maze to a 3-year deal. It was a 3-year, $24 million deal. Not the biggest of deals. They're still going to be looking at center, in my opinion, within this NFL draft, especially with the amount of talented centers that they are. Logan Jones, Pat Coogan, your guy, Jake Slaughter, Jeff. Who's the kid out of Auburn?
Crap. They met with it. They actually might like him, too.
I heard some info on him. I will tell you off air. I heard some things on him. I think I'm out on him. Just gonna leave it at that. Not like the worst thing, but it was just
Connor Lew.
Yeah, Connor Lew. I heard something where I'm like, yep, I'm out. If I hear anything, I might be out. So I'm going Pat Coogan with this. You guys know how I feel about Zane Durant. A little undersized interior defensive lineman, just an absolute dog, just a horse, a worker. At 204, this is a guy. It's like, hey, he's just gonna be fighting for a spot over the next few years. Not guaranteed to probably make the roster, but you're sitting there at 204. You need to add some defensive line. He's a good one. And Jeff, you don't have to do the second page. Just scroll down a little bit because I think my last pick here, I just had one more, correct? And then I had another one on a different page. We won't even do that. We'll just act like I traded that one away. And then at 212, Cole Payton, quarterback, says he models his game after Josh Allen. He slings the ball. The thing with Cole Payton is he has all the talent in the world. The only thing with Cole Payton is he just needs to play at a higher level, and he needs to just learn a little bit. And under Jared Goff, in there with Dan Campbell, Drew Petzing, just let him just go in there and work, learn, sit behind Teddy Bridgewater, learn a little bit. Kind of how Hendon Hooker did with Teddy B for 2 years. Let Cole Payton do that. He's got all the talent in the world. And the difference between like a Cole Payton and a Hendon Hooker is, and in Jeff, I think you can attest to this very, very well. Cole Payton's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in this draft class. I think he was rated top 5 in the country. Hendon Hooker, when he was in Detroit, he might have been in Tennessee. I don't know. But when he was in Detroit, man, that was one of the reasons why I felt like he lost his job, was because he could not hit the mark. And remember the last couple training camps before he got, before they cut him before that preseason, me and you were looking at each other like, oh, this guy just can't. He's the most inaccurate quarterback of all time.
Dude, at Tennessee, he was really accurate. I don't know.
Yeah,
so yeah, it was weird.
I think it's just one of those things, man. But if they can get Cole Payton in here, in his accuracy, his arm strength. He's extremely athletic. And guess what he doesn't have compared to Hendon Hooker? Hendon Hooker was coming off a knee injury. Cole Payton doesn't have that. So you just got to get him adjusted to this, this level. Give him a year or two and just see what happens out of it. It's 212, man. It's one of the last picks in the NFL draft. So, and then I won't even say it, but the last pick I did have, it was just an edge rusher. It was more so just like I need to get someone in here. It was Vincent Anthony Jr. out of Duke, which he's not the worst in the world. I don't think it's the worst edge rusher. It was just more so the reason I did is just wanted to say, hey, we need to get more defensive line depth.
I liked it. I like it. Honestly, I'm curious to see what they do with that center position. I mean, if you have Juice Scruggs and Cade Maze, do they still take a center? I think it's on the table. And do they like Juice Scruggs a lot? I don't know. Do they see him as a future center? Not future, maybe future capable center, or maybe they see him more as a guard. I don't know. So I think it's interesting. But Katron Allen was kind of the David Montgomery role, I think, at Penn State. I think him.
Yeah, but he's good though, man. Like he's
he's a bigger,
just as good as Nick Singleton. Lives up to all of the hype that Nick Singleton does. He's just more so a power back, I think, compared to Nick Singleton, who was just a type of guy.
Yeah, speed guy, and then Katron's like a big dude, but I don't think he ran that slow, actually.
I think Katron, I mean, if you watch the highlights, I think Katron's got a little bit of a jet to him. It's kind of like D-Mont. Like D-Mont is, you saw the play, the play versus the Chargers. Like D-Mont's got the athletic ability. It's just he doesn't always, display it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he ran a 4.55, it says. I think David Montgomery's around that, though. So he's more of like he'd be a good fit, though. He'd be a really good fit for the Lions. Yeah, David ran a 4.63 at the combine. Who cares?
Yeah. I if this draft happened, this would be like, to me, I'd be like, okay, let's go. Because the first three, I think in this draft, the first three, you have Monroe Freeling, Anthony Hill, two starters instantly.
Yeah.
Malachi Lawrence within a year or two starter. Katron Allen's going to be, RB2 for the next 4 years. Pat Coogan in the future, potential starter at center. And then obviously Takario Davis is kind of just a swing in the dark, getting another corner. And Zane Durant's kind of a similar, just, hey, get depth in that D line.
Yeah, Anthony Hill is he's the interesting one. I don't know how he keeps falling in these drafts. There's always this is what I always think too, man. And this is how I feel about different prospects, not just Anthony Hill. Honestly, I feel the same about kind of Caleb Lomu too. Like some guys like that, where it's like coming out when the season ends, they're like high draft picks or higher draft picks. And then the combine, they don't have like terrible combines or anything. And all of a sudden everyone just gets like sliced around all like the last couple months.
I do think there's a world. I think there's a world where there's a reason, but maybe on the back end that none of us don't really
like. Brian Branch, he's the same thing.
Yeah,
he was a first round pick, and then all of a sudden he started falling, and then you look back and you're like, why?
Like how?
Why did that guy fall? Like I don't understand.
The Caleb Lomu one might be one of the more interesting ones to me that I'm trying to figure out.
Because I remember we covered him in a mock draft, him at 17, and I mean, people were like, "Yeah, no, for sure." Like,
yeah, but that was well, when that happened, I still
he
was a
have
little
short arms. Like, I don't understand. He didn't test bad. I don't really know what even happened. I don't know what even happened.
That's why it's the interesting one to me, because everyone right now is looking at Caleb Lomu as kind of going into the back end of the first, almost the second. And at one point he was in the 20s. So that's where I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with him. Is there something? That's why I'm not putting him in the category of a Monroe Freeling and Francis Mauigoa and Spencer Fano. I can't do it. We got to figure out what's happening. There's a reason.
Yeah, but it's the same for other guys like Blake Miller. He's rose, and then like Monroe Freeling deservedly so. Like he rises, and then Anthony Hill falls. Like what the hell happened to Anthony Hill? I don't understand. Mekhi Lemon apparently bombs interviews. Like what? Does he? I don't know. Or is this all like bullshit being passed around? I don't understand. Maybe people are hoping they get him. I don't know.
One of the fears that I have is like Brad does like, we're getting Blake Miller for a steal at 20. If we trade back to 27, or Caleb Lomu for a steal, and then you draft one of them, and then it's like, now we see why they fell. They can't even play tackle, or like Caleb Lomu has to be a guard now, and something's going on with him. That's my fear. He's not good in the run game. That's where I think actually the Caleb Lomu stuff's starting to come from. I could be wrong. I think that's part of it. I think he's like not that good in the run game.
Yeah.
And in the NFL, you got to be like, especially if you want to be top, you want to be in the first round. got to have good signs of both, right? You got to be able to do both. That's the only thing I've read about Caleb Lomu.
Yeah, you want guys that are more complete players. Like, you don't want quality. I know people poke fun at like Brad for his Isaiah Pacheco. I know Lucas in the chat, he'll do it. Like, oh, you're just getting these guys that are 1.8 million, but he's worth 1.8 million, or he's not that good. You could have gotten better. That's what Lucas's point is. You could have gotten better. I would like to think, and I know in the draft we've seen that kind of apply to the draft, where it's like you get a guy and it's like you kind of settle on a guy and he ends up not being that good. But this draft, you just got to take dudes. Like, just try and get some really highly touted guys. Even their scouting process, I'm sure, is different. I'm not saying they watch like Field Yates and Mel Kiper and say like whatever these guys say, I'm going to listen to, because that's all the information we get fed is like, online and experts and Daniel Jeremiah, and then we take in our opinion, and it's like, I'm sure they have their own boards.
Yeah.
Like, Tyreek was high on their board. I mean, it's just how it was. Like, I don't know. They like him.
Hey, remember he drafted TA. He said TA is one of the highest. He was one of the highest players on my board at that time.
Yeah.
Or in general. He said in general in the draft.
Yeah. Xavier, we'll start mailbag. Drop your questions. Xavier, would you go 1 3-minute round with Ronda Rousey for content?
I would not. No.
No,
Ronda Rousey?
Lose. I think that's a lose-lose.
Yeah. She'd probably kill me too, to be honest. Ronda Rousey. As much as we think we're like, it's Ronda Rousey.
No, she would kill me.
Yeah.
But let's say there's an off chance that you look good. You're punching. You're basically sparring a woman. Which it would never happen. She would whoop your ass, but it's a lose-lose, even if you look like Floyd Mayweather in there. So, yeah, Ronda Rousey would throw me and I would get concussed. Use some judo, and she would knock me out with a hip toss. So I'm good.
Yeah, I would probably have to tap.
Yeah, I'm good.
Something, headlock or something. I'm
gonna pass on that. Well, maybe for content, I don't know. I don't know if I would.
I don't think I would, man. I would not do it.
I mean, I would content. Maybe I'd have to think about it. If it's like wrestling. No, I'm not. If we're just like trying to, I think.
How big of a sponsor do we have?
Don't lie. People in the chat would like to see me fucking Ronda Rousey whoop my ass. I think people would definitely watch that. I think that would be content people would enjoy. Maybe I wouldn't, but people would. JC's mailbag. Your Freeling is available at 17, but the Raiders are calling for the pick and next year's first for Max. Well, what's your next move? So you have Freeling on the board, and Las Vegas goes, hey, we'll take 17 and next year's first. Here's Max Crosby.
No, you don't do it.
So you're choosing Monroe over Max Crosby.
Yeah, you don't do it.
First. It's basically Monroe in a first.
I'm not at this point where you're at on your roster. Giving up your first 2-round picks aren't as valuable as Max and the contract. Because then now you got to figure out the contract because you don't have that much money available.
Yeah, I guess they like if we're playing like if we're
if it was 1 first, okay, but you're not in a spot to be able to give up 2 first where you're at right now in your roster.
Yeah.
And that money, dude. Like I don't think you could.
I know. If there's a way
being realistic. I don't think there is.
Let's say there was like maybe Brad's like, oh, we just got to cut this guy or trade this guy or something.
I
Maybe
don't think it's a pot. I wouldn't.
So do it. But money probably wouldn't line up, no. But I would. Oh my gosh.
And someone, fan man, just put it in the chat. We just learned about Max's knee isn't worth 2 first. There is a world, and I know the Raiders and all of that, but like, why hasn't anyone else stepped up to give them 2 first? Like, they obviously. I'm not saying his knee is the worst or whatever it is, but there was something there that they're not comfortable with. And the Cowboys doctor too was one of the doctors that was a part. When I heard that, I was like, okay, maybe there is something. And remember, you said you're the one that told me is the best in the world. He also was in on those meetings for the physical of checking the knee out. They said that he was a part of failing his physical. So.
Inside job. Maybe inside job.
Yeah, no. What if he was, and then he was like, oh, the Cowboys get him?
No, I don't know.
I don't know. There's something to it for sure. So I probably, if we didn't know, I would probably just pass. Sounds good, but
yeah. I think maybe I would try and negotiate, be like, I'll give you a first and a second. But dude, oh my!
I'll give you next year's first. I'm not giving you 17. I'm taking if Monroe's on the board. I'm taking Monroe Freeling. Monroe Freeling has the ceiling to have more All Pros than Max Crosby does in his career. I'll take Monroe.
You think Monroe Freeling, when it's all said and done, will be a better player than Max Crosby?
I don't know. I'm just saying he has the ceiling too. As a tackle.
All right, because Max has never made an All-Pro. I don't think he's made an All-Pro team, has he?
I bet you Monroe at one point in his career.
He's made basically a Pro Bowl. He's been a Pro Bowler for 5 straight years, but he hasn't been an All-Pro, I don't think.
It's a shame.
Oh, yeah.
What was that, dude?
That's a fun. I'm just thinking of Max Crosby and Aiden together.
Don't ever
dude.
make that noise again.
Oh, dude, that would feed families for generations, man. Mr. Jiggle says a Leam and a first. I would. There's no way they're taking on that contract.
I would do that.
What if it was a Leam to get rid of the contract first?
No,
because then the money lines up.
You're giving up so much, Jeff. Like this is not.
But then they give you back like a third or something.
No, is it you have to have. Listen, Jeff. Listen, I love you, and you know I've been on your side a lot with this Max stuff. You can't just be like, we'll just throw this and this and this and that. Like you have to be at that point. You're being like you're a pushover. Like you're a pushover. It's not worth it. You still have to have some sort of backbone and be like, well, what if? All right, Jeff. What if Max doesn't work out? Well, you went all in, but now you don't have your next 2 firsts. Now you don't have your defensive tackle. Now you have to find a new defensive tackle that's at a level. But I'm saying though, like you have to find a new starting defensive tackle, and you got to hope that he's just good. Like it's just to me, it's so much risk at this point. Now, if it's 1 first and a second, maybe.
Hey, I'm a pushover. I'll be pushing that Lombardi into your lap. I'll tell you that right now.
No, you won't.
You get Max Crosby. Jesse says, Mailbag, what's more likely going to happen? We see a list of a bunch of names from DC or Booner's path or Booner path.
I don't get this question.
What's more likely going to happen? We see a list with a bunch of names from DC or Booner's path. Second, Lions win in the North. Right now, I say no. I think they have a chance to win the North.
Yeah, they'll be contention. What's the first question?
I have no idea. What list? I'm confused on the list. Yeah, I don't know what that. I don't know what you mean by that, Jesse. List of a bunch of names from DC or Booner's path. I don't know. Hey, Hey,
bud, come here and sit on my lap. And by the way, too, I just think about this with the Max Crosby thing. Like, you're one of the people that agree with me, Jeff, that like there are a billion holes on this roster right now. Like, you don't know what's happening at safety, tackle.
I'm gonna be honest.
I think 2 years ago, when you said that window was there, you were 1 move away. You're not a move away anymore.
I think I also said last week the only way this defense gets much better is you need a game changer on defense. And I think Max Crosby helps disguise some holes for sure.
Yeah, but you're not a move away though. Like you were 2 years ago. You're no longer a move away.
But you're a move on defense away from being a big move like that from being significantly better.
But then you still need an Anzo replacement. You still potentially need a corner.
Oh, we still need a safety. Third.
But you're giving up like valuable picks where it's like 2 picks where it's like you have like 4 or 5 holes the next 2 years. And that's not even counting guys that are potentially going to leave still. Like you just 2 years ago, I would have been like, give them 4 first. Now it's like you're doing it for what? Just to say you did it? Like you're no longer 1 move away.
How do you say the Lions aren't far away though from contention?
They're not, but that's why you need the picks so you can get as many players as you can to fill all the holes you have.
I said earlier quality. We want quality over quantity.
Yes, but again, that's also picks to fill those holes. If you give all of your picks away for 1 quality player,
just 1 first this year.
Yeah, but then you have a first next year where that's quality as well. So you're giving away 2. And I'm not saying Aleem's great, but that's a quality defensive tackle you look at. That's 3 quality. That's 3 quality players for 1 quality player in a time where you have 6 quality holes.
Gotta fill those. I understand.
You know what I mean? So now we're trying to fill 6 quality holes with 1 quality player when we have 3 quality players potentially for 6 holes.
Well,
doing algebra here. This is good algebra.
Well, we're doing algebra.
We got to get to the 2-hour mark. Don't end us early here. The people actually were mad because we started 2 minutes late. They said, "What are they?" I bet you they said they're coming. I saw someone put in the chat. They said, "The boys starting 3 minutes late." I bet you they end on time.
Yeah, they're right. Well, not right actually, because we're ending 2 minutes later. Well, it's on time, 2 hours. But if you're watching now, which we appreciate you, hit the like button on the stream. Get your merchandise, officialctsports.com, and check out our social media platforms. Links will be in the description below. We'll be back tomorrow on Tuesday. I believe Flannel's popping into the show. So until then, we will catch you all. Peace.
Peace. Love you guys.